Welcome to the Secular Bible Study. I'm the Amateur Exegete. Anyone who has read through the four Gospels quickly notices two things. Matthew, Mark, and Luke are very similar, and John is very different. It is for this reason that the Gospel of Matthew, the Gospel of Mark, and the Gospel of Luke are often referred to as the Synoptic Gospels. They present what is essentially the same story, often using the same wording. For example, consider the story of the calling of the tax collector, which appears in Matthew 9, verses 9 through 13, Mark 2, verses 13 through 17, and Luke 5, verses 27 through 32. You will notice that each begins with Jesus out and about, and then you notice the calling of the tax collector, then a dinner at a house, then a complaint from the Pharisees, and finally a statement by Jesus that he came not to call righteous people, but unrighteous people. In each gospel, the same basic elements appear, but there are also some differences. As you no doubt noticed, Matthew's gospel refers to the tax collector as Matthew, while Mark and Luke refer to him as Levi. And there are other differences as well. In Matthew, Jesus is walking along, but Mark tells us that Jesus was walking along beside the sea. And Luke just tells us that Jesus went out and saw a tax collector named Levi. And what is it that Jesus says in response to the Pharisees' complaint? In Matthew, Jesus says, "Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. Go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. For I have come to call not the righteous, but sinners." In Mark, Jesus says, "Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. I have come to call not the righteous, but sinners." In Luke, Jesus says, "Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. I have come to call not the righteous, but sinners to repentance." All three of these are different from each other in some way. They all have the core sayings of "those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick," and "I have come to call not the righteous, but sinners." But Matthew includes a quotation from Hosea 6, verse 6, that neither Mark or Luke have. And Luke adds the words, "to repentance," to the end of the second saying, a feature that neither Matthew or Mark have. There are also other issues. In Matthew's Gospel, the calling of the tax collector occurs after three major displays of miraculous power: the stilling of the storm, the exorcism of two demon-possessed men in Gadara, and the healing of a paralytic man in Capernaum. But in Mark, the calling of the tax collector occurs after the healing of the paralytic man in Capernaum, but before the stilling of the storm and the exorcism of a single demon-possessed man in Gerasa. In terms of the order of events, Luke's gospel is very similar to Mark's in that the calling of the tax collector occurs after the healing of the paralytic man, but before the calming of the storm and the exorcism of a single demon-possessed man in Gerasa. What do we make of these contradictions? The similarity of language is a sign of some sort of literary dependence. But which of these gospels came first? Who is depending on whom? And how do we explain what's going on? That is the topic we will take up in the next video, so stay tuned. This is the Amateur Exegete, signing off.